From stories across the globe to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast. A very good evening to you. I'm Sharifa Tahir.
A very good evening to you. I am Dishan Virakon, and we start off by taking a look at your headlines for tonight.
The no-confidence motion against Minister Gammanpilla defeated by a majority of 91 votes. The no-confidence motion is a politically ignorant act, says MP Anura Kumara Disanayaka. A study reveals that a person administered with both doses of the Sinopharm vaccine develops 95% effective antibodies against the coronavirus. Cabinet approval granted for the sale of 18-litre domestic gas cylinder at a rate of 1,150 rupees. The child resided at the house of parliamentarian Rishab Badyuddin has been abused continuously, Minister Sarath Weerasekara reveals in Parliament. The National Sandun Uyana Park vested with the public.
We move on to those and other stories in detail now. The no-confidence motion against Minister Udaya Gammanpilla was defeated by a majority of 91 votes. 152 parliamentarians voted against the motion, while only 61 votes were in favour. Samaki Jana Balawegaya handed over the no-confidence motion to the Speaker, claiming that Minister Udaya Gammanpilla is responsible to increase the domestic fuel price rates compared to the global crude oil price increase. The party leaders decided to grant a period of 2 days for the debate following discussions held in this regard at the committee of the parliamentary premises. Accordingly, the relevant voting began at 5:45 p.m. today.
යෝජනාවට පක්ෂව ඡන්ද 61යි විපක්ෂව ඡන්ද 152යි යෝජනාව ප්‍රතික්ෂේප වී ඇත පරාජය වී ඇත.
Samaki Jana Balawegaya, Tamil National Alliance, National People's Power and parliamentarian Ranil Wickramasinghe voted in favour of the motion. However, Sri Lanka Potujana Peramuna and its affiliated parties voted against the motion.
Now let's take a look at remarks shared by several parliamentarians representing government and the opposition at the parliamentary debate on the no-confidence motion presented against Minister Udaya Gammanpilla. Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that when the opposition presents the motion, it should have some valid reasoning behind it. However, the minister said that the no-confidence motion has been presented on political basis. He further said that in accordance to the motion presented by the opposition, Minister Gammanpilla has not committed any fault in this regard. Former President and parliamentarian Maithripala Sirisena said that every government in the country throughout his career has increased the oil prices. He pointed out that the fluctuation in the oil prices occurs in every time period in the country. Parliamentarian Anura Kumara Disanayaka said that the secretary of the governing party has issued a statement indicating that the increase in the fuel rates has occurred due to the failure of the subject minister to take necessary precautions to avoid a potential price hike. He added that those who tabled the no-confidence motion became politically ignorant following the meeting. He said that such debates are media events and not politics which they use in their favour.
උපයෝග කරගන්නවා විශ්වාස භංගයක් කරහා වෙනත් දිශාවකට තල්ලු කර. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ රටේ දේශපාලන පිළිබඳ අවම හෝ චලනයන් පිළිබඳ හැඟීමක් දැනීමක් නොතිබුණු බව තමයි එම් පෙන්වු කරන්නේ. ඒ නිසා මේක දේශපාලනික වශයෙන් අඥාන, තකතිරු, මෝඩ තීරණයක්. දේශපාලනික වශයෙන්. මේක ගත්තොත් මම නැවතත් කියන්නේ මේ මීඩියා ඉවෙන්ට් මාධ්‍ය වලින් හරි විශ්වාස ජීවන වියදම කොමිටියත් සාකච්ඡා කරනවා.
Parliamentarian Ranil Wickramasinghe said that the responsibility for the price hike should be borne by the finance minister. He further said that since the issue has been taken up in the committee for the cost of living, the relevant minister should also bear responsibility in this regard.
මේකට ඇතුල් කරන්න ඕනේ. මම කනගාටු වෙනවා විවේචනය කරපු කියන්නේ මේ විපක්ෂයේම മന്ത്രിවරු කෙසේ හෝ අනුර දිසානායක මන්තුමාගේ කතාවට ඇහුම්කන් දුන්නේ නැද්දි එතුමා මේ යෝජනාව ගැන කරපු විග්‍රහයක් නම් මමත් එකඟ වෙනවා. මං හිතන්නේ හිතලා මතලා තමයි මේ කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. අද මේක අපි ඉදිරිපත් කරලා තින්නේ සාගර කාර්යවාස මන්ත්‍රීතුමා කිව්වේ කතාවක් උඩ. එතුමා වැරදයක් කරන්න මේ පක්ෂයට තීරණය කරන්න ඕනේ එතුමා අයින් කරන්නද නැද්ද කියලා. ඒක අපේ වැඩක් නෙමෙයි. දැන් මොකද? දැන් ඔක්කොම ඇමතුරු ඉන්න එකට එකතු වෙලා ඒකම ආණ්ඩුව සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම ඉන්නවා බලේ පෙන්න
මත තියලා ඉන්න. ඒ මත
Minister Nama Rajapaksa said that parliamentarian Ranil Wickremesinghe has indicated that the no confidence motion against a parliamentarian would further strengthen the governing party. He said that through various opinions which have been shared within the political sphere, everyone should get together to progress ahead as one for the benefit of the masses. He said that the prevailing price hike is only a temporary price increase.
පස්තික පුරුදු කරාම පොඩි හුලකටත් ගහපෙල්ලේ. සංධාන දේශපාලනය තුල නොඑක් මතධාරණා ඉන්න. යම් යම් ප්‍රකාශ සිද්ධ වෙනකොට ඒ ප්‍රකාශ වල තියෙන අන්තර්ගතය මේ සමස්ත ආණ්ඩුවේ මතයක් නෙවෙයි. කාලෝචිත තීන්දුවක් විදියට ගරු අමාත්‍යතුමා කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලය තීන්දුව කරා යම් ප්‍රමාණයක තෙල් මිල වැඩි විය යුතුයි කියලා. මේ తాවකාලික අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. රජය බේර ගන්න මෙතන.
Parliamentarian Dr. Harsha De Silva said that they have no intention to safeguard the government. Therefore, the no confidence motion was presented with valid reasoning. Minister Vasudevan Anakara said that the opposition assumed that they could take an advantage from the rift existing within the government. However, the opposition managed to end the rift and further unite the government with this no confidence motion. Parliamentarian Sarath Fonseca said that parliamentarian Ranil Wickremesinghe should act alone in presenting any amendments or no confidence motions as the Samagi Janabalawege will progress ahead on its own.
එතකොට ආණ්ඩුව දුර්වල කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මැතිතුමාට අපිට කියන්න තියෙන්නේ තමුන්නාසයට ඕනනම් තනියම විශ්වාස භංගයක් දාගන්න. මේ වගේ වසංගතයක් තියෙනවා.
Minister Vimal Veeravancha said that gratitude should be extended to the government for the progress achieved while encountering various challenges amidst the pandemic situation. He said that the opposition has no ethical right to table a no confidence motion. He added that this no confidence motion further strengthened Minister Gaman Pilla and allowed the government to explain the nation on the challenges faced by the government.
ඒ වගකීම් විරහිත අතීතයකට නෑකම් කියන තමුන්වහන්සේලාට විශ්වාස භංග ගේන සදාචාරාත්මක අයිතියක් නෑ. විශ්වාස භංග යෝජනාව යෝජනා කරන්නේ මරික්කාර් මන්ත්‍රීතුමා. ස්ථිර කරන්නේ කබීර් හෂීම් මන්ත්‍රීතුමා. අවසන් කතාව කරන්නේ කවුද අපේ මුජිබුර් රහමාන් මන්ත්‍රීතුමා නේද? ඉතින් හරි මම කල්පනා කරා එහෙම වෙන්නේ කියලා. උදේගම්මන්පිල මන්ත්‍රීතුමා කියන්නේ පාස්කුවිරිදා ප්‍රහාරයත් එක්ක ඒ අන්තවාදයට විරුද්ධව දැඩිව ප්‍රහාරාත්මකව කටයුතු කරපු නායකයෙක්. ඒ අරියස් එක කවර් කරගන්න දරන උත්සාහයක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් නේ. එහෙම වෙන්න බැරිද? ඊළඟනේ පොඩි අරියස් එකක්. ඇයි දැන් බලන්න ඉන්නවා රිෂාඩ් වතුරුදීන් මහත්තයා අන්න ගෙදර වතුකරේ ජීවත් වෙච්ච අහිංසක දුවෙක් 15යි මරණ පරීක්ෂණ වාර්තාවෙන් කියනවා දිගින් දිගටම ඒ වගේම අසමගි වෙලා කියලා තමුන්නාසලා හිතාගෙන හිටපු ආණ්ඩුවේ සමගිය අන් කවරදාටත් වඩා හොඳින් බල සම්පන්නව පෙන්වන්න ලැබිච්ච අවස්ථාවක්. මොන්ටිසෝරි බබාලා තමයි.
Minister Udegaman Pillai rejected the claims which indicated that Sri Lanka had purchased oil from Singapore. He extended his gratitude to the President, Prime Minister, Minister Basil Rajapaksa and other fellow government parliamentarians for the support given to defeat the no confidence motion. Meanwhile, a study has revealed that persons administered with both doses of the Sinopharm vaccine developed 95% effective antibodies against the coronavirus. Director of Allergy, Immunology and Cell Biology Unit of the University of Sri Jayawardenepura, Dr. Chandima G. Vandara, said that the antibodies developed with the Sinopharm vaccine have a higher efficiency rate against the Delta and the Beta variants. A sample was selected among 323 persons in the Colombo area for the relevant study. The first blood samples for the study were taken prior to the vaccination process, and samples have been extracted in various occasions following the vaccination. According to reports released yesterday, the percentage of persons over the age of 30 years who have received at least one dose of any vaccine was 49.35. The highest number of vaccinated persons have been reported from the Western Province. In the province, the percentage of those who have received at least one dose of the vaccine was at 80.62. In the Colombo district, the percentage was at 81.18. In the Gampar district, it was 80.62%, and in the Kautar district, it was 77.83%. The health divisions have further said that those who have received at least one dose in the Mannar district were at 72.17% and in the Mathur district 61.94%. Under the COVID-19 immunization program, a total of 7,573,967 persons have been inoculated thus far. In the last 7 days, 1,856,079 doses of vaccines have been administered, while vaccine doses administered yesterday has amounted to 215,640. 41. A total of 104,617 have been administered with the first dose of the Sinopharm vaccine yesterday, while the second dose have been inoculated to 10,997. The first dose of the Moderna vaccine has been administered to 97,699, and the Pfizer vaccine doses have been inoculated to 2,328 persons. So far, Sri Lanka has received 17.28 million vaccine doses for the national COVID-19 immunization program. Accordingly, the country has received 77.1 million Sinopharm vaccine doses, a total of 1.5 million Moderna doses, 1.264 million Covishield doses, 180,000 doses of Sputnik V vaccines, and 128,700 Pfizer vaccine doses thus far. 48 persons who have participated in a funeral in the Horagaskale area in Payagala belonging to Bay Rural Medical Health Officer Division have been identified as COVID-19 patients. 1,062 COVID-19 patients were detected in the country today. Meanwhile, 980 patients left the hospitals today following recovery. Director General of Health Services confirmed that 43 COVID-19 deaths were reported yesterday. 9 vans have been distributed among the provinces today with the aim to uplift the health system in order to maintain the COVID prevention and controlling efforts in an effective manner. This event was presided over by Minister Pavitra Wanyarachi. The value of the vans received under the project to improve the health system with the financial assistance from the Asian Development Bank and the coordination of the Ministry of Health is 90 million rupees. Secretary to the Ministry of Health, Major General Dr. Sanjeev Munasinghe was present at this occasion.
In the meantime, the president of Sri Lanka Medical Association, Dr. Padma Gunaratne, says that it is important for the public to understand that vaccination does not provide 100% protection against the coronavirus. She further says that it is possible for people to develop the disease of coronavirus after receiving the COVID vaccination.
It's important that people realize that even if you have received your vaccination, there are many instances that where people who are vaccinated, particularly the healthcare professionals who have received both vaccines, still they develop the disease for various reasons, as the vaccines would not give you 100% protection. So therefore, it's important that people understand that at this point of time, when the number of cases are rising, the vaccination per se would not give us 100% protection, particularly the high-risk people that who are above 60 years of age and people with comorbidities take extra precautions to see that they do not become a victim of the fourth wave that's yet to come. And it's important that at this point of time for us to highlight that certain places, as we try to balance lives against livelihood, there are certain places that has been open and expecting that people to attend these places. There are many places that would be sort of high risk to create another cluster of COVID-19 infections, such as weddings, religious places, religious cultural activities, cinema, public transport, musical shows, restaurants, bars, etc. We need to highlight that particularly if there is an enclosed environment with air conditions on, such as restaurants and bars, those places could be at very high risk of spreading the disease. There are plenty of cases. When we get about 50 deaths per day, one could calculate at a 2% death rate in COVID infection, one could calculate to 10,000 infected people in our community. Our impression is the number infected is much more. So in a setting like that, at this point of time, our interest would be more to minimize the number of deaths and minimize the number who become ill and getting admitted to hospitals. As such, it's important that we improve the care given for these patients. To reduce deaths, the patients have to understand that they should reach hospitals early, they should seek medical advice early, and the facilities in hospitals have to be expanded. There has to be facilities for asymptomatic patients to be managed at home so that you leave room for more seriously ill patients to have proper care from hospital setting.
In the meantime, police spokesman Senior DIG Ajit Rohana says that a special program will be in place during this week and to limit public movement. Meanwhile, the police have taken 191 persons into custody during the last 24 hours for violating quarantine regulations.
We are intending to implement special operations from tomorrow till Monday morning across the country in order to monitor the COVID-19 situation. No one is allowed to cross provincial borders during this period, and in addition to that, all the time general public should adhere with health habits, guidelines and COVID-19 rules and regulations. Especially, we are going to check the capacity of public transportation and the adherence of quarantine laws by the employees of public transportation. In addition to that, everyone should wear a face mask. The face mask should wear properly. If a person is moving without a face mask, they could be arrested by police and the charges should be framed against them in the court of law. So therefore, adhere with quarantine rules and regulations.
The government has decided to build a luxury tourist resort in the Kalpitia and other coastal areas to attract international tourists into the country. The cabinet approval was granted for a proposal furnished by Minister Prasanna Ranatunga. Accordingly, it has been proposed to construct a luxury tourist resort consisting of 50 tourist residences with water tourist residences and water villas. Many countries engaged in tourism have introduced the water villas concept to attract top-level tourists in the global tourism sector. Steps have been taken to introduce this concept by the Sri Lanka tourism in the Kalpitia and affiliated coastal areas. Cabinet of Ministers has granted approval to amend the Civil Procedure Code and the code which contains the marriage procedure, enabling to govern the persons who believe in Islam intend to get married under the Marriage Registration Ordinance. The relevant proposal was presented by Minister Ali Sabri.
Now, 52 years ago today, two American astronauts, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, became the first humans to walk on the moon. Apollo 11, which was launched to the space on June 16, 1969, became the first manned mission to land on the surface of the moon. Today marks the 52nd anniversary of the Apollo 11 mission that carried 3 US astronauts to the moon and landed back on the planet for the first time in human history. Mission Commander Neil Armstrong and pilot Buzz Aldrin landed Apollo lunar module Eagle on July 20, 1969, as they took giant leaps for mankind. The space flight was piloted by another astronaut, Michael Collins. Following the first mission to the moon, many countries have ventured into reaching the planet many occasions with several successful attempts. Following China's recent attempt to reach the moon, many nations including India, Japan, Germany and Russia are in the competition to land on the planet next.
Man has gone to the moon 52 years ago, and by today we are again planning to go to moon. Several countries are trying to do this thing during the 4-year period, 21, 22, 23, 24 and even 25. And these countries are not only NASA but also Russia. Lunar mission will restart after 1976, and then Japan, India with Chandrayaan, and then South Korea, then Germany, a private company will start, and like that several countries will have their missions from this year onwards, and many of them are trying to mine the moon for ice and precious metal and even carbon and nitrogen. So these are kind of not rather scientific but technologically commercial type space missions will start. In the meantime, American SpaceX company will support this Artemis project of US NASA, and even to send a man again to the moon as NASA expected around 2024 or 25. And then the most important thing is that's the only manned mission, but the rest are all robotic missions. In the meantime, a Japanese billionaire has arranged to go around the moon through a SpaceX mission of USA, a private company, and that will be the first space tourism in 2023. So these are again, after a decade, the man is now trying to have space tourism, space mining, and take precious metal from other celestial bodies to the Earth. So this is a good improvement after a decade of moon landing.
In the meantime, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa instructs relevant authorities to establish a new cardiology, neurology, pulmonary and geriatric care unit at the Kuliapitia Base Hospital. The relevant instructions were directed during a discussion held at the parliamentary premises today. Director of the hospital, Dr. Prabhat Veeravatha, briefed the council on the issues pertaining to the hospital. Present situation and the areas to be developed was also discussed. The Kurunegala Provincial Hospital is also expected to be upgraded into a national level hospital. Accordingly, a decision has been reached to construct a 14-storied complex with plans to accommodate a medicinal, pediatric and surgical units. Ministers Pavitra Vanyarachi and Johnston Fernando, State Ministers Dayasiri Jayasekara, D.B. Herath and Sita Arambepula were present at this occasion. Also, parliamentarians Anura Priyadarshana Yapa, Jayaratna Herath, Shanta Bandara, Sumit Udukumbara, Asanka Navaratna, V.Y.G. Ratnasekara, Saman Priya Herath, Professor Charita Herath and Manjula Disanaika were present at the council meeting. In addition, Additional Secretary to the Prime Minister, Chaminda Kularatna, Secretary to the Ministry of Health, Dr. S.H. Munasinghe, Director General of the Health Services, Dr. Asila Gunawardana, Director General of Urban Development Authority, P.N.K. Ranavira, and President of the Government Medical Officers Association, Dr. Anuruddha Padania, also participated in the occasion.
Now, Cabinet approval has been granted for the sale of newly introduced 18-litre domestic gas cylinder at a price of 1,150 rupees. Litrogas Lanka company introduced the new 18-litre domestic gas cylinder on April 12th this year to the market following the gas price increase in the global market. However, the company took measures to sell the cylinder at an initial price rate of 1,395 rupees. The current rate of the cylinder is at 1,150 rupees. Accordingly, the consumer has received a saving of 245 rupees with the new price range. The cabinet paper presented by Minister Bandula Gunawardana has mentioned that steps had to be taken to sell the 18-litre domestic gas cylinder at a rate of 1,150 rupees, and the weight of the gas in the cylinder should be indicated in the measurement unit of kilograms. Meanwhile, Chairman of the Litrogas Lanka Limited, Teshara Jayasinghe, issuing a media statement, said that they will leave no room for a gas shortage in the market. The Litrogas Lanka Limited has indicated that they have adequate quantities of gas stocks and the market ability as well as the network to import additional capacities.
Minister Sarath Weerasekara says that the 16-year-old girl who was a domestic aide at former Minister Rishad Badiuddin's house and had died with burn injuries had been sexually abused continuously. The minister made these remarks while responding to a query raised in the parliament today. Mr. MP Anura Kumara Disanaika said that he had observed reports citing that the girl child who had died at former Minister Rishad Badiuddin's house had been sexually abused. Therefore, he inquired the current status of the investigations on the incident. Minister Sarath Weerasekara in response said that the victim had worked at the former minister's house as a domestic aide. He said that the victim had died from burn injuries. He further said that the doctors have pointed out that the victim was sexually abused continuously and an investigation is underway in this regard. He affirmed that necessary steps will be taken against the incident. Meanwhile, a protest was organised by estate workers in Dayagama area, Hatton, today demanding to conduct a proper investigation on the death of the child.
Now, the National Sadun Uyana Park in Bathramulla was vested with the public today. The ceremony was presided over by Minister Namal Rajapaksha. The National Sadun Uyana Park, built at a cost of 294 million rupees, was initiated under two phases in a 9-acre property belonging to the Urban Development Authority. 300 red sandalwood and 900 white sandalwood saplings, considered as extremely rare species in the country, have been planted at this park. The relevant saplings have been planted upon a 2-feet soil structure from the ground level to safeguard the root system of the planted trees. 2 water ponds have been established at the entrance to the Sadun Uyana Park, which can hold up to 200,000 litres of water. Waterfalls with cooling effect have been established in several attractive locations in the park as well. The Sandun Uyana Park consists of 12 small ponds and has been designed as a suitable location to organize programs related to exercises, yoga and meditation. The park also consists of a car park, water and sanitary facilities and restaurants. The Urban Development Authority is the designer of the Sandun Uyana Park. This project was initiated as a part of the program to convert the country into a green zone under the Vistas of Prosperity policy statement.
A unit to repair and maintain vehicles belonging to state institutions was declared open at the Sri Lanka Transport Board's Ekala Central Workshop premises today. The operations of the newly opened unit will be conducted by Lakdiva Engineering Limited. The new unit was declared open by Minister Gamini Lokuge and State Minister Dilum Amanugama. This new project has been initiated under the Ria Savia program. The new workshop is consisted of state-of-the-art facilities to provide variety of services including vehicle upgrading and maintenance. Lakdiva Engineering Limited is currently in the process of repairing buses belonging to Sri Lanka Transport Board into functional condition. In addition, the institute has directed attention into the maintenance of other vehicles belonging to the government. Secretary to the State Ministry of Vehicle Regulation, Bus Transport Services and Train Compartments and Motor Car Industry, Lalit D. Alvis, and Chairman of the Lakdiva Engineering Limited, Kushan Vegodapola.
Meanwhile, a total of 1,500 preschool teachers received the Guru Abhimani Scholarship today. The relevant event was held at the Ministry of Education premises. The teachers have received the scholarship to follow a 6-month course at the London School of Education Institute. Following the completion of the course, the participants receive an internationally recognized certificate. Also, the program to provide a nutritious pack for children with special needs and a YouTube channel for children above 8 years of age and adults to learn 10 languages were launched today. Minister Professor G.L. Piris and State Minister P.L. Nishantha were present at this occasion. Now the 100th birth anniversary of the designer of the state emblem and former Assistant Commissioner of the Archaeological Department S.M. Senaviratne falls on today. Kalapati Kalabhushana Puravidya Chakravarti, late S.M. Senaviratne had created logos for over 15 government and non-governmental organizations in his 50-year-long career. The late former Assistant Commissioner, who had committed his entire life to protect the country's heritage, was also instrumental in designing 4 bo tree leaves in the national flag. He also formulated the plans for the first golden fence of the Anuradhapura Jayasree Ma Bodhiya premises. He had also contributed his services for many renovation and conservation projects in the country, including Kuttampokuna in Anuradhapura, Mahasaya in Mihintale and Kirivehera in Katharagama. The copies of the sketches and paintings in historic temples and archaeological sites which had been copied by the late Senaviratne are currently preserved at the National Archives. Late Mr. Senaviratne, who devoted his entire career to safeguard and conserve the heritage of the country, passed away at the age of 91 in 2012. Well, that's a wrap of tonight's Primetime News, and until we meet again next time, do take care and good night.
Stay safe.